question that I had a client ask me recently is for some posture tips on working on your computer and your laptop. Like you'd said, Paul, there's some people who, a lot of us actually, were on our laptop a lot because of the pandemic, but then that's just normal. You know, a lot of laptops out there. You want to talk right into it and jump right into that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. My mind thinks anything that you just do for 8 hours a day, if it's the same thing without any breaks between that, it's just going to put you in a position that your body's just not going to be very happy about. So head forward, eye position, crossing legs, anything that's just outside of just your standard posture. Do that for 8 hours straight, you're going to make something unhappy. So in my mind, just being first and foremost just self-aware of the way you sit, the way your body feels throughout the day sitting goes a long way. So I think just introducing and opening the door to that mindset, I think is huge for people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know when I get the question asked, so like, okay, what are some good posture tips for the laptop? You know, I guess one helpful thing that I found is showing what it looks like before versus what are some things that I do now. So one benefit of being on the phone here is I can show you. So if I have my laptop here and I'm looking here, if the laptop is further down, we're going to be hunching as we're working. You know, the head and neck is going to travel forward, like you'd said, Paul. The upper back's going to round as well, right? I find it very helpful to incorporate peripherals as much as you can. And to give you guys an idea as to what my setup looks like here at home, and this has evolved as time went on, but I could show you. So I've got my laptop right here. It's raised a little higher because I do a lot of Zoom appointments, and having the screen and the camera eye level is really helpful. And then I've got a second monitor up here to take care of some stuff and whatnot there. But this allows me to keep my head looking up versus down, right? And then also too, I'm going to show you. So like while I'm here, if I'm working on my menu and I have the elevated computer elevated, my hands are going to creep up. That's going to lead to some forward shoulder here too. So I also incorporated an external keyboard and a mouse just so that I can keep everything at 90 degrees. Sitting upright, good posture while you're sitting. Arms, shoulders, head, looking forward, nice 90 degrees, right? I don't know, Paul, if there's other things that you do at home while you've been working remotely.
Yeah, I mean, I would even start from the feet up as well, because that comes into play, even though you might not think about it as much, but some people love, like I'm doing it right now, I'm crossing my leg over my knee. Sometimes people, they cross their ankles, and they do that the majority of their time sitting, and that gets your hips it gets the hips realigned. And like I said, anything that puts you out of your proper posture for hours at a time, you're going to get up and be like, ooh, like what have I been doing for the last few hours? So just being cognitive of feet, legs 90 degrees, feet on the floor. I don't think I like so much his feet just like dangling around, but firmly planted on the floor, and just, you know, be thinking about from the feet and ankles too.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that there are certain exercises that you like to do regularly to break up like extended times of sitting?
Absolutely. So I try and keep things as simple and as manageable as possible and realistic, really. Mm-hmm. So I say to myself, there's not a reason in the world why I can't do one of two things. Sitting, and it doesn't have to be the entire time. It can just be once every hour, once every 30 minutes. Just making sure you sit upright, you get just a little bit of a curve in that low back. Try and just pull your shoulder blades back and down and release. Just get 10, 15 of those. Nothing else. It's kind of like a check yourself moment where you just break up the monotony of that rounded back. You get some blood flowing through that area, and you might just feel better doing it. You can even just sit there and just kind of try and do some glute contractions too, just to, you know, give you something to do, because you don't have to get out of the chair to do that. So there's kind of really no excuses not to. And for me, it's not like I never like to feel like, oh, I have to think about my posture 8 hours throughout the day, the entire day. It should come second nature, but you can ease into that by, you know, once an hour, just taking a minute or two just to change it up. And then you can just go back to how you naturally are. But I think that goes a long way in starting that process.
I think there's something to be said for listening to how your body is reacting in the moment. Your body is extremely good in knowing what's good for it, right? So while you're working on the computer, while you're on your laptop, and you feel a lot of tension creeping up in your back and your neck, you might have that instinctual need to just move your arms up, extend your chest up. That's a signal for your body saying, hey, I need something like this. And I love what you said too, Paul, about just working on your shoulders in the sitting position. You're already there. Doesn't take much in terms of equipment. You could do some scapular contractions to pinch together and down. That's going to go a long way in opening up your chest. One personally thing that I like to do while I'm sitting is go for an overhead extension. So I interlace my fingers together, keeping a good sitting position, and I reach up towards the ceiling. That's going to allow me to really open up my spine. That feels particularly good for me.
Oh, yeah. I would do it right now if I wasn't holding a phone in one hand.
That's right. It's just a simple thing. Doesn't take much. Yeah, but certainly listening to the signals your body's telling you goes a long way in helping with the posture while we're sitting. So that's good. I love that.
Yeah, I have some thoughts in terms of some people might say, well, how do I know my back pain is attributed to my seated position at work all day, or is it something else? You can, in a second, kind of give your thoughts on that too, but I imagine if it's something where if you shift positions, you get up, you feel better, that might mean, oh, it's the seated position. Did you get a new car? Is it a new job? And all of a sudden this new back pain popped up. Really think about, does it change when I change positions? Is it something that goes away? Is it starting at the neck and working its way down? If so, again, it might be because of the head position and then the trickle down effect of that. So I think identifying it and being able to attribute it to something as simple as just the way you said, I think gives people a lot of confidence and then how to better treat that.
Has there been things that you have discovered about your own body and kind of paying attention to those signals? Do you have certain positions that feel worse or better?
Yeah, absolutely. So even as recently as I moved from Austin to Santa Monica, so road trip several times. Normally my brain's just turned off and you're an autopilot driving and you just get tired and I'm leaning forward, and normally I would have been like, oh, it's so weird. I have this neck pain creeping up, but I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense. I've been sitting in this car for hours at a time. I've been doing it from just kind of a lazy slouch position. You get kind of drowsy, your just head's coming forward. I connected the dots so much quicker. Like you mentioned, just getting my upper back opened up, for one thing, it just feels great in the moment and really went a long way in terms of just getting the head better set. So absolutely.
How long of a drive? I've done Austin to Boston a couple of times. That's 36 hours. I don't know about Santa Monica.
It's not quite as crazy as 36. It was with some traffic out near Palm Springs. You're pushing 24, 25 hours. Break it up, maybe 3 days, so 888.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
It's very doable, and there's lovely desert to just stare at along the way. Sand, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.